Now let's go over the fill properties or the color properties. I have a rectangle here. I'm going to select my rectangle and then I'm going to come to the fill properties. In the fill, firstly, I have the preview of the color that's being applied to my shape and its code, followed by opacity, the visibility, and removing the fill completely. Now let's click on the preview for the color to change it. First up on the color properties, you have different types of colors that you can apply to your shape. You have solid, which is currently being applied, a continuous single color. You have gradient, a blend between multiple colors. Then you have patterns, image, and video. Please note that video is only available in professional version. Currently, we have a solid color applied to our shape. To change the color, you have to select this handle and move it around to choose the right color you want. The way to understand this color wheel is that on the vertical axis, on the y-axis, you have the value of the color, which means how dark or light the color is going to be. On the horizontal axis or the y-axis, you have the saturation level of the color. You can move this handle towards left or right to make your color more intense or saturated. Below value and saturation panel, you have the hue panel or the color panel. This actually defines the color that you will be using. So you can move on horizontal axis to choose any color you want. Below the hue property, you have transparency. That means how transparent you want your shape to be. After that, you have color modes. You have 6 different types of color modes that you can use in Figma. Hex is the standard value. These color modes are different types of color representations for the color code. Hex value has 6 digits in it. You have RGB, which means red, green, and blue. As soon as I change these values, the reds, greens, and the blues will be affected. You have CSS. CSS color modes are used for coding purposes in HTML CSS. And then you have HSL. HS means hue, saturation, and lightness. You can play around with numbers to change hue of the color, the saturation level, and the lightness level. Lightness is also another word for value. After HSL, you have HSB. HSB represent hue, saturation, and brightness. So these are different ways of writing the same color code. Below the color modes, you will notice on this page, it gives you access to any colors that you have on the artboard. Now let's go over the gradients. From solid, now we are jumping into gradient. Gradient is a blend of more than one colors. You can have a blend of 2 colors, 3 colors, 4 colors, and so on. In the gradient, the first thing that you will see is the type of gradient. Currently, it is linear gradient, and then there are 4 more options: radial, angular, and diamond. Then you have 2 options to move around your gradient. First one is flip gradient. The black and the green color are going to change their spaces, thus giving my shape a different color. And then you have rotate gradient. I can rotate gradient 90 degrees. Below that, you have gradient preview. Currently, there are only 2 colors in a gradient. To add another color, I can either click anywhere on the gradient preview or click plus here, add gradient stop, or I can come to the shape itself where the gradient preview is being presented to me. I can simply click on the color preview line to create a new stop. To change the colors is very simple. Select on the color preview for any stop and then change its color. Now let's have a look at different types of gradients. You have linear, radial. Radial gives a rounded look to your gradients. After that, you have angular. Angular is that you can define a particular angle for the gradient. And then you have diamond. Diamond is similar to radial, but however, it's just in a diamond shape or a square shape. You can play around with the gradients with the help of this gradient preview bar on the shape. You can hold it, drag it, move the stops around, add new stops. And you will also notice at the bottom there is another handle which I can hold to increase and decrease the width of my gradient. After gradients, we have patterns. You can select patterns next to gradients. When I click on pattern, you will notice that dots have been applied to my rectangle. That's the placeholder where we'll be adding our pattern. So what I've done is I've gone to the web and copied one pattern which I'm going to paste here on the artboard. Drag it towards the side and then select your box again. Come to the pattern In the pattern, I'm going to do select source. When I do that, I'm going to hover on the image and click. Once that's done, the image is now applied to my box. And then furthermore, I can play around with the properties of the box. First is the scale. Scale is now 100%. You can reduce the scale like that to create more intricate. You can change the tile type, the different arrangement for your pattern. You can also change the direction, and then you can also play around with the spacing. And then you can also play around with the alignment of the pattern. So that's how simple it is to add patterns. After patterns, we have image. In the image, I can simply select an image from the computer to be adjusted into my box. I'm going to click and open. And when I do that, my image is applied to the box. And if I want to further make changes to my image, you can see the properties here which says image. And then I can click on this to crop the image if I want. When I do crop, I will have additional options to play around with the dimensions of my image. And click anywhere outside the box, your crop will be applied. And you can apply crop to any image that you have on the artboard. Up next, we're going to be looking into effects.